Okay, so if you're in the UK at the moment, you've probably seen a lot of these around. It's what they call Flying Ant Day, some people call it. It's not actually a day, it's in between July and August. We see ants taking their nuptial flight. So they're sending out queen ants and male ants. They all fly up at the same time from hundreds of different nests, and they're looking to breed. The males will die after breeding, and the females, like this one here, they're going to fall to the ground, break off their wings, and now, like this one's doing, they're looking for a place to start a new nest and a new colony. So it's annoying to a lot of people because you can get hundreds and hundreds of ants everywhere, literally everywhere. But what we can do is actually collect these up, and you can use them to start a new colony. Okay, so I paused it. They are very fast, but I got that one. What we've done is put it in a test tube. As you can see, there's a little bit of cotton wool in the bottom, the top rather. It's obviously breathable, so we're not suffocating the ant, but it does trap it in there. It's going to stop it from moving. I can show you how we're going to actually start a new colony with this queen ant. So what I've done, I've got the queen ant, I've also caught some normal standard worker ant, just so you can see the size difference when you're actually looking for these guys if you want to do it yourself. And just get these in the light. So that one's running up and down like a madman, but I think you can see massive difference in the size. So I was lucky enough, guys, that I've come out here. There's quite a few of them out here today, so I've not really had to do much looking. In between those times, there's a few things that you can look out for that will make it a little bit more likely that you're actually going to find these guys. So if you're not like me and you stepped out and you found them straight away on a local path or in your garden, you can go to any kind of greenery area, really, your parks, look for places near water. You can find them after a little bit of summer rain. They do tend to like to come out at those times as well, so that's a good time to look out for them. And they don't like it when it's windy. If it's a really windy day, they're not going to be doing the nuptial flight, which, like I say, is the first flight of those new queen ants. So you might be wondering, what am I going to do with these?
A few moments later.
So what I've done, I've filled this up with a little bit of water, just under halfway. That is rainwater. And I'm just going to plug that up at a different angle. It's a bit tricky. Like I say, just going to plug that up. It needs to go right down, because what we're going to do with this, we're going to create a little chamber for the queen ant. Just tamping that down a little bit. And like I say, got a nice little area here at the top. And that water is encased in the bottom there. Didn't use too much cotton wool for that, so I just kind of ripped one in half. As you can see, that's just done perfect. A little bit of an air bubble in there, but that's fine. So as you can see, once we have plugged the top, as we did before, this one, queen ants in there, chilling. You'll see it's going to leave this little chamber here. I'm sure a lot of people will say that's cruel. It's not enough space for it. This is exactly what the queen ants out there are trying to do. It's looking for a little space like this, just enough humidity, and a safe place for her to start laying some eggs. And those eggs will hatch out into first workers, which are then going to start looking after her, feeding her, and the colony will breed from there and build. Okay, so I've transferred the queen into her little chamber there. As I mentioned, at a certain point when her eggs hatch, which hopefully she will lay soon, can take up to around about a week, the workers that are going to hatch from those eggs, they'll start foraging. So they're going to want to get out of that test tube and go and look around for food, which they'll bring back and feed her. They'll clean her, they'll do absolutely everything for her to look after this little queen ant and get the colony up and going. Now this is a species of ant called L. niger. It is going to be in the description if you want to find out a little bit more information about them. That's Lasius niger. It's a very hardy species of ant. It's a good one to start with. Not much is going to kill these guys as long as you take the basic care of them. Now, with this species of ant, you don't actually need to feed them during this period. There are a few ants where the queen will actually forage for food before the workers have hatched. Now, with those kind of ants, you're going to need to feed them within this chamber, which is obviously a little bit tricky. You can use a syringe to do that. Always good to have a syringe around when you're working with inverts. Obviously it can be, like I say, a little bit tricky to do those kind of things. You're just going to put the needle down this edge here, down the edge of the test tube. You're going to squirt in a tiny little bit of honey, sugar water, literally the tiniest little drop. But like I say, this one's quite easy. With this species, we don't actually need to do that. The first time that we're going to need to worry about feeding is, like I say, once the workers have hatched. You'll see them knocking about with the queen in this little chamber, cleaning her, looking around for food. They'll actually start to pull at this wall. Pull at this wall here, and that'll give you a clear sign that they want to get out. We're going to need to build them what's called an outworld. So that's just a little area that you're going to drop the food in. They'll go out and forage in that area. They'll actually also use it as a cemetery, so they'll bring their dead bodies there, and they'll have a little dump there where they bring kind of uneaten food items, things like that as well. But like I say, we're going to follow along with this. I'm going to keep these. I say these because what I've done, I've made two, so a little bit of a backup. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, what usually happens is these guys hatch out, they mate, the males die, and then the females, they'll break off their wings, and then they'll start looking around for a place to actually nest. Now, there are some stragglers sometimes. Those guys don't manage to mate. They'll still break off their wings. They'll still knock about for a little while, just because it's their instinct to do so. So when you do find these queens, doesn't actually, there's no actual guarantee that these guys are mated and they're going to lay fertile eggs. So I've got two, just in case. We can always sell off one colony if they both manage to start it off. We are definitely going to follow along and see how these guys do. We'll keep you updated. Subscribe to the Jungle Cabin. You'll be able to follow along with us.